This is Vishnu. Just wanted to check in with you this morning. I haven't spoken to you for over a week, so this makes a good opportunity to just reach out and to kind of let you know some of the things that are happening in my mind. Every morning I make sure that I get some inspiration and education at the same time. One of the videos I listened to this morning was by Dr. Jim Rohn, and the key thing that he did mention is don't be a follower, be a student. Sometimes as followers you have a tendency to just be led blindly in whatever direction or so-called leader, and God forbid you actually have a boss, wants to take us, instead of being a student and understanding exactly what is the basis behind this. And what do students do? Students learn. So followers follow, students learn. So if you continue learning, it will really put you in a position where you can take these lessons and improve your life daily. Now, a lot of us would have gone through primary, secondary school, tertiary education, either GTI or University of Guyana or a private institution, and we kind of went there with the intent to finish this as quickly as possible, go through the material as quickly as possible, follow some advice that we got. And I think sometimes our top priority wasn't to actually be a student. And what I mean when I say that is to understand that we were there to learn all these concepts, make sure that we garner that knowledge as well. For some things we actually needed to develop the skill, because I usually use the example of swimming. Step number one is understanding that you maybe can't swim, and having the knowledge that you can actually understand what swimming is all about and what the benefits would be. Secondly, you then decide, okay, do I actually need the skill of swimming? Now, if you're ever going to be in a situation that you'll have to get into water and you want to be safe, and again, Guyana is called the land of many waters, so I would strongly recommend that you learn how to swim. Then you need to develop that skill, and when you're developing a skill, it is very much, learning it on the grass first, then left, right, and paying keen attention. It's almost like driving a car for the first time, where you have to develop the skill and you're watching where your hands are, where your feet are, where the gear stick is, until the phase where you actually develop what we call unconscious competence, which is the ability. You don't think about it anymore, you don't worry about it anymore. You have full confidence that you can do this thing at any point in time. When you're near a lake or near the deep end of a pool, no worries at all, because you know you have the ability to swim. So you as a human being need to understand, what knowledge do I need, what skill do I need to develop, and what ability do I need to lock in order to make sure that I can take care of myself and those who depend on me in the future. Now, I understood this relatively early in my life, and then I also put one and one together, and I thought, if I'm really to be very successful in life, if I'm to take care of myself and those who depend on me much better than just growing in an organic way. And organic meaning I just learn a little bit here, I learn a little bit there as it comes to me. I quickly figured out that I need to put myself in a position that allows me to develop this knowledge, skills, and abilities much faster. It's very similar to you just deciding to live day to day, or you deciding to go into a gym. Because what the gym does to you is it puts you in a state of overwhelm. Do you think that anywhere on the road you're going to find 2 dumbbells, or the person in your organization is going to say, move these kettlebells from this direction and put them in that direction? It's unlikely, right? But when you're in a gym, you're putting yourself consciously through a lot of strain. And why do you do that? You do that in order to prepare. Well, some people do it for aesthetic reasons. Some people just make sure that they do it so that they're strong enough, that their bodies are strong enough and healthy and fit enough in order to take them through this life. So that when things get tough, when they don't get sick as frequently, and if they do get sick, their bodies don't break down as easily as people who don't take care of their bodies. God forbid, if someone were to fall sick and they're next to you and they can't get up, that you can actually pick them up and take them to the hospital. I think that was my first wake-up call when a very good friend of mine in Borbies, he broke his leg, and I took him to the hospital, and when I picked him up at home, he was already downstairs. He got down somehow, but by the time we got to the hospital and back, I saw the struggle, and I decided, okay, well, let me pick him up. I walked up the step with him, and I put him on the sofa, and I actually crashed down on the sofa next to him because I didn't realize my body was that weak that I barely made it up the steps with him. And that was a wake-up call. So I since that day, I've made sure that I take care of myself so that I can take care of others as well. Now, I spoke about putting yourself in a state of overwhelm. Maybe that's one of the cases where I'm an anomaly. On a daily basis, I strive to get as much overwhelm as possible. Whereas most people run away from overwhelm as soon as something is too difficult, too confusing, something that they haven't seen before, they do their best to minimize it. And every time you do that, you're not preparing yourself for what is to come in the future, for when you do need the skill, when you do need the ability. Now, again, I can also tell you that pushing myself to the edge so often, it can get a little bit frustrating at times, but it's like in the gym. If you notice that you can't take the weights anymore, in the gym you don't look at the weight and say, oh, I'm doing fine with this and this is going to be my weight forever. As soon as you get comfortable with the level of weight, you step up to the next level. You add some more reps, you do some more sets. Right? You don't say, well, this is where I want to be. You go and you see what else can you push, and of course you do it in a manageable way. Sometimes you make a mistake in the gym, right? When you say, okay, let's add another plate, and then when you start working on it, you say, wait, I'm not ready for this. Let me step down back. That's the nice thing when you put yourself into a state of overwhelm. You can then decide, is this the right pace? Can I continue practicing with this? Will this allow me to develop? Or, let me just dial it down a little bit, get better where I was, and then I'm going to do it all over again. This has served me really well, and what I'm going to ask you today is that every single day just look for a little bit of overwhelm in your life and be very happy about it. Another way of thinking about overwhelm as well is confusion. The only time you're really learning something or are in a position to learn something is when you actually feel confused. If you go through your entire day and everything every single thing, and everything is so easy for you, you're not learning anything. So please be very interested in getting into states of confusion and then learn from it. And what I'm asking you, do this every single day. If you're not a good public speaker, find 2 or 3 people and for 2 minutes tell them about something. And the first time, of course, it's going to be crazy, you're going to be sweating, you're going to have all these type of butterflies. And then you do it the second time, a third time, and you say, wait, I can talk to 2 people for 2 minutes. Let's now test out 3 people for 3 minutes. And that is how the skill is built. Again, what I'm talking about is maybe for 10-20% of the population. Most people do not really want to put themselves through this pressure, and again, that's okay. Sometimes, I think, why do liars lie? Right? And then I just have to remember that that's what liars do. I can't expect them to do differently. The same way, what do believers do? Believers believe. I mentioned to you earlier, what do followers do? Followers follow. Students learn. You have to decide your role in life. If you want to be in denial, and again, the short way to remember in denial is didn't even notice that I'm lying. If you want to lie to yourself, then that's fine. Many people do, and many people are happy and content within that little bubble that they create. But everything in the world is, to me, not necessarily changing. It's accelerating. We've always been on a path towards improvement. There are many innovators in this world that continue to look for better ways, and once they found it, we then have those of us who start adopting it, and those of us who really start moving towards using it in mass. So those innovators will continue to drive change in the world. It is up to you to either resist it, accept it, test it out, but it will continue happening. And if you are to really, if you have big plans, then you might as well get prepared. because they also say that it's better to be prepared and have no opportunities than to have opportunities and not be prepared. And one of the things I can guarantee you is that when you are prepared, opportunities will flow in like crazy. So because opportunities look and seek out and are attracted to those people who are prepared. So I just wanted to share that knowledge with you this morning, and I want you to give some thought to this and look for something today that you can put yourself in a state of overwhelm, or a state of confusion, so that you can move yourself forward. So this has been Vishnu from Action Coach, and have a fantastic day and keep growing.